Okay, fellow board members, good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6:01. Before we begin, I've been asked to make an adjustment to our agenda. Item 8B, Southwest Legacy High School Campus Athletic Coordinator and Head Football Coach selection process is an item of information, not action. So we will still listen to it tonight, but we will move it to item 6J. That'll be a friendly change unless I have any opposition to that change. No? Hearing none, so changed. Okay, Dr. Ristoff, invocation, pledge of allegiance.
Yes, I just want to say good evening, board members, and welcome to the most postponed board meeting in the history. This was actually supposed to be our February 16th, which was postponed to February 18th, which we are now able, because we are thawing out, able to have here February 23rd. And to start our meeting, I'd like to ask Ms. Janice Hernandez to lead us in our invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiances.
Thank you, Dr. Versta. Dear Lord, we ask that you guide us in the work that we embark on tonight, and that you help us fulfill our duties to the best of our abilities, always in the interest of our students and the community we serve. Guide our students in all of their future endeavors and provide them with the wisdom they need to make decisions that lead them to opportunities to improve their world. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez.
Thank you. Okay, recognitions.
Yes, sir, we do. We do have some recognitions. We're going to recognize some of our students this evening, and we also have a special recognition of some of our folks who, when the time called for, really stepped up and stepped forward. So I'd like to turn it back over to Ms. Janice Hernandez, and we will start with our student recognitions first, I believe.
Thank you so much. So tonight we have three recognitions, three student recognitions and a staff recognition. We're going to start with Meadow Creek Elementary School, who would like to recognize third grader Sebastian Mata. Sebastian is very involved on the campus and is on the Bring On Student Success program, a campus support network that helps bring out the best in students, both academically and behaviorally through mentorship, where he is learning to be a leader. His duties include putting up and taking down the American and Texas flag, as well as other duties as assigned. Sebastian teaches new students assigned to the flag detail about the importance of the flag and the meaning behind it. In the BOSS program, all students earn school money to purchase items in our BOSS store. Most of the students buy items for themselves. However, Sebastian buys items for his sister and his brothers. His aspirations for his future include professional football and working on the police force. Sebastian is truly an amazing young man who represents Meadow Creek and our district with pride. Next up, we have McCullough Middle School would like to honor and recognize Brian Juarez. Brian will be the first to admit that school wasn't always easy for him, and he has overcome challenges. But what makes Brian so incredibly worthy of this recognition is how he has responded to those challenges. We have seen Brian grow into an incredible young man who will always help when help is needed. Brian shows his teachers and administration how much he appreciates their efforts. Brian has played football and is a current member of our student council. This year, despite the struggles with the ongoing pandemic, Brian has maintained perfect attendance. He is excelling in all of his classes and hit his target scores in all of his common assessments. Brian models strength, kindness, and resilience. We are proud of his accomplishments and his growth. McCullough is excited to see what greatness Brian does in life and will always be here cheering for him. Our next recognition is Njrotc Cadet Commander Christopher Marquez from Southwest High School. Christopher's academic record alone is truly exceptional, ranking in the top 15% of his class. This outstanding academic performance was achieved while shouldering a full load of dual credit and advanced placement courses. In addition, his full range of other achievements include serving as commanding officer of the Southwest High School Sea Dragons, Navy JROTC Distinguished Unit for the 2020-21 school year. He has been a leading drill team competitor multiple times at both the state and national level, winning first place armed drill team at the 2019 Navy JROTC State Military Drill Championship. He also served as the unit's academic team leader and is an NJROTC Leadership Academy graduate. He is an Air Force Associate Cyber Patriot competitor and was one of only 5 students in the greater San Antonio area to be selected to receive the 2020 Order of Dandelions Flight Training Program Scholarship. Most recently, he was awarded an ROTC program scholarship to Texas A&M University College Station valued at $180,000, which will provide him an opportunity to earn an officer commission as an ensign of the United States Navy. Chris aspires to one day serve our nation and his fellow service members as a combat search and rescue officer. And our students and their families are logged into our meeting tonight. So thank you so much for logging in and congratulations on your accomplishments. And in addition, if you see some faces up on our screen there, we would like to recognize several of our staff members who really stepped up to the plate this week. As you all are aware, this past week, the state experienced one of the largest winter storms in the history of Texas. This storm left many without power and drinking water for several days. In an effort to help our community, several team members from Child Nutrition, Facilities and Maintenance, Southwest PD, and many of our principals and volunteer staff came out to support the efforts around the meal distribution and warming center. Meal distribution made 2,500 meals for our community. We would like to recognize these departments and quickly just give us a wave. Let us know you're here. There are so many more people involved, and these are just a few of the representatives that helped. Winston, Katie, Judith, Yesenia, Christine, Michelle, Alejandro, representing Child Nutrition. We also have Raphael, Billy, Thomas, and Joe representing all the facilities and maintenance staff. And thanks to the police department, Chief Palomo and his team as well, Sergeant Alvarez up there, who also came out to help, and all of our principals who came in to check on their campuses. Again, there are many others who went above and beyond, and we want to thank all of them who helped out.
I just want to add too that these folks, without their contribution to their local community, I don't think our folks would have been able to recover as well as they did. Child Nutrition, in a matter of hours, prepared a plan. RPD was all over the district, specifically at the warming center. And our facility and maintenance folks, I think you're going to get a report later on when we get into the construction. You'll see kind of the sector of what the freeze brought into our own backyard, and how they were able to just kind of go out and correct some of these issues, how we're still working with a lot of them today. These are the heroes of our district. When Mother Nature put a hurt on us, they were the ones that stepped up first and really extended the arm of service and growth and results in our district. And so we wanted to publicly thank them. They were not originally on this recognition, but we thought it would be very appropriate to put them on. And so big thank you from us. And I know on behalf of our trustees for everything that you guys do and all the folks that you represent in your department and division. So big thank you.
Yes. Definitely. On behalf of the board, we thank you for going above and beyond and always representing our district and showing how much you care for our community. And also our students, Sebastian, Brian, and Christopher. If you're listening out there on behalf of the school board, it's for children like you and all the other children in our district that we do what we do. Thank you for doing great things and representing our district in what you do, and continue doing so. Thank you. Okay.
So that does conclude our recognition, Mr. President.
Okay. Thank you. We'll now go to item 4, public comments, and we have 2 people signed up. As a reminder, we asked you to keep it at 3 minutes. And they are both general comment items. They are not on items listed in our agenda, but we do allow general comments made. The first being a Melinda Rodriguez, and her topic is naming the Southwest Natatorium.
I
Melinda.
believe that this committee member sent in and requested that her statement be read. And I believe Mr. Doris is going to kind of go through the parameters of our public comments, and then he will actually read the statement presented by Ms. Melinda Dunn Rodriguez.
Thank you, Dr. Burstuft, and thank you, board members. Good evening, and I'm going to go ahead and begin by reading our public comments. Is everybody, or I'm sorry, I'm going to begin by reading our norms for public comments. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. When addressing the audience during the public forum, speakers' commentary must adhere to the following. Everyone must model courtesy and respect. Speakers shall not employ profane or threatening language, nor shall they engage in any personal attacks. The public has the right to make critical and harsh remarks. However, the expectation is that the message delivered by the speaker is done so in a constructive manner with a collaborative purpose. Speakers are expected to respect both the decorum of the public meeting and the authority of the board. The Board of Trustees requests that derogatory or inflammatory statements and personal attacks or individuals be avoided. Caution should be exercised in publicly attacking specific individuals. In accordance with board policy BED local, the board shall not deliberate or respond to any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with the notice of the meeting. Speakers who have signed up to speak on a specific agenda item must focus their own comments on the posted agenda item. We have 2 individuals signed up to speak for general public comments this evening. And again, as Dr. Verstup stated, the first is going to be Melinda Rodriguez. She's provided a statement, and I'm going to go ahead and read that statement for the board and everybody listening. To the Southwest Board of Trustees, I would like to address the board about a thought that has crossed my mind many times and at many occasions. Let me start by introducing myself. I am Melinda Dunn Rodriguez, known as Coach Rodriguez. I am an alumni from Southwest class of 1982. I was employed by Southwest in 1992, and I have now retired from Southwest in 2019 with 27 out of my 31 years of teaching with Southwest ISD. I am a community member within Southwest, and I have had 2 out of my 3 children graduate from Southwest. Soon to have my 3rd graduate 2021 on the football field. I am also a first-generation college grad in my family with a master's degree. The reason I am writing this letter is to say a few words on behalf of Mr. Mike Frazier. He has given Southwest ISD a part of him and was a strong backbone for Southwest. He started in 1980, and I would see him at many events within Southwest during my years there as a student. His son, Mike, was one of my favorite classmates, and it did not bother him that his dad was on the board. It was funny because there were times we would bring it up and Mike would say, he cannot change that, but I will ask. We knew his dad could not, but we tried. Back then as students, we just lived for each day to come to school and see our friends. As an employee at Southwest again, I would see him at many functions. I even had his grandson at Elm Creek, Justin, so he came to many functions there to support the school. I would stop at times and talk with him about his grandson, about life and retirement as a teacher. Of course, at the time, on the talks about retirement, I was still working at Southwest and just got some other thoughts on it. Southwest has grown so much in my eyes. Mr. Frazier has been a big part of who we are today. He has brought Southwest into the limelight, backing many projects that had occurred within our many schools and community. There is so much to say about him, but it would take days to list all of his accomplishments. As a community member, I see lots of alumni coming back and supporting their past, which is now part of the future. Being a community member and on the board, Mike has been there for 40 years, and in all this, I believe in my heart that we owe him to keep him alive within our Southwest community. So I propose, if that is the word I use, that we name the Natatorium after Mr. Mike Frazier, Michael Carl Frazier Natatorium. He believed in Southwest, and we must believe in him as he looks down from heaven. He is such an amazing person, and to have known him is a blessing for many, and for me and for many others who have crossed in his path. Of course, we could do the football stadium, Michael Carl Frazier Dragon Stadium. Seeing the Edgewood Stadium be renamed helps this make sense. For example, Joe Marsh Relays, what a legend amongst us. This was a bit hard for me to type because I am such a talker. I hope I put a bug in the ears of all of you to think about this. Respectfully, Melinda Rodriguez.
Thank you, Nathan, and thank you, Melinda. Now we have a Gloria Rankin talking about COVID-19 reentry plan. Is Gloria, yeah, there she is. Hi, Gloria.
Hi. Good evening. Again, my name is Gloria de la Garza Rankin. I am a mother of 3, and I've lived in the Southwest ISD community since 2008. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to address the board. I'm happy to see that everyone here has made it through the snowstorm of 2021, and I want to thank y'all for your quick responses and efforts to change with every curveball that's been thrown our way. The COVID-19 Reentry Plan Committee that you have put together has worked really hard, and that shows. Many of our students have been able to safely attend school face-to-face since August, and our families have been given the choice to pick the option that works for their needs, whether it be face-to-face or continued with distance learning. We receive a lot of resources and information from various SWISD social workers and counselors, and we're always kept informed. Our district has also formed the School Health Advisory Council, which is allowing our families and our community to advocate for the health of SWISD. Last week was a blur for many and individuals across Texas, including San Antonio, where we were hit really hard by an unexpected snowstorm. When faced with all these challenges, y'all have continued to pivot, make changes you need to help our community. I really wanted to take a moment and give a shout out to all of our staff, our teachers, bus drivers, all the different departments that have worked tirelessly to bring some normalcy to our children's lives. It really does literally bring me to tears to see that after all we went through last week and what we're in the middle of a pandemic, there was a snowstorm, we still had teachers volunteering and taking time out of their own lives to help our students and provide them with warm meals and help with the warming stations that were available. As we're well aware, many of our students, and this may have been the only warm meal that they had in the past week. So again, I just wanted to really thank all of those who are at the front line. I did want to let you know we do truly appreciate it. I did want to close with, I know it may not be up to y'all, but we do currently have some legislation that we'll be discussing STAR testing. And I would like to urge the board, if given the chance, to please request and support the waiving of that, because our teachers and students have been faced with enough right now. And while we still don't know what the future holds, please know that you're all doing an amazing job, and the community and myself, we really appreciate it. And then just to add to back Melinda Rodriguez, I would love to see our something named Dr. Mr. Frazier like that, because he truly was such a giving person and did a lot for the board, and he deserves that. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Okay. We will now move on to item number 5, consent agenda. Board members, you've had that before you. Is there any item that you wish to be pulled?
I move.
Have a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a second?
I second.
And we have a second. Any discussion, any questions? Hearing none. All in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item B, Board Amendment number 5. Who has that? Oh, okay. Item 6, items of information. Construction update.
Yes, sir. Today I have some problems with us to give you an update on our ongoing projects and also update you on some of the things that the facilities and maintenance department and possible construction we're dealing with and had to deal with in the and so I'll turn it over again.
Good evening.
Good
I will
evening.
start off with Southwest High School renovation, phase 3. And if I can get this going. Okay. So on Southwest High School phase 3, we're about 41% complete on this project. I'll put up to the plan so you guys better see the plan. On the second floor, currently Tankon General Contractors is working on 10 classrooms on the second floor right as you enter the main building. And those are the items marked in green. Everything that has been highlighted or hatched out is what has been completed and turned over to the school district and to the campus. On one of the things I do want to point out is on February 1st, we had a separate incident of a sprinkler head being busted in one of these rooms that caused some of the flooding on the first or newly renovated Keel Academy. However, that was during classroom hours. We addressed it with our facilities department and our general contractor immediately. We really mobilized and had that area pretty dried out and conditioned shortly after that leak. That was on February 1st, which was a completely different incident. But there is some items that will be addressed by Tankon due to their original scope and incident. Next, on the next phase, our plan is to go over to what's marked on the yellow, which will be the gymnasium, the PE gym, as well as the practice gym HVAC unit swap. And originally, we have targeted a series of classrooms on the first floor. However, due to current circumstances and our incident last week, we're going to have to scale back a little bit on these classrooms because we want our students to be able to utilize as many classrooms as possible. There were several damage or quite a bit of damage done on one science lab that spread through science labs in the first floor. So currently those areas are being aired out, but we'll go more into detail about that scope shortly. However, this project is going pretty good. The contractor's on task, on schedule. Just like everybody else, last week they were off, and right now they're trying to catch back and reach back their schedule that they lost a week ago. So,
Okay, why don't you go ahead and share with them what's going on in Southwest currently they're on this project.
so on Southwest High School, separately, I turned over a project report that we put together just based on the damage. So on Monday, there was a sprinkler head on Science Lab 203 that just busted. However, we didn't find out till Tuesday morning. By that time, there was quite a bit of damage onto it. Just to piggyback on that too, we lost power on the campus due to the winter storm. On that same day, facilities and maintenance contacted Black Mooring, which is a remediation company. They come and assesses the damages, does the repair. And since then, they've been boots on the ground, trying to extract the water, air out the campus, and really take care of the damage done. On the second page, you'll see a map where the darkest red area, that's 306, that's where the sprinkler busted, and it really affected everything that's kind of in red. Most of the damage, I want to say it's BCT flooring due to the water being stagnant for a little bit and lack of power. There is some millwork damage on the sign slabs close to it, but everything that's kind of in yellow will be BCT. Luckily for us, there was also quite a bit of tile, ceramic tile throughout, so that kept from further damage. But currently, there's about 27 classrooms that are being aired out with fans. There's temporary dehumidification, as well as air being pushed out. But as we go through, these are some of the initial damage images of 306. And we know water finds the path of least resistance, so it goes everywhere. We have 3 units. These are 2 units that are set up front by the Fine Arts entrance, but we have temporary dehumidification and HVAC running through the corridors, some of the corridors at Southwest High School. We are waiting just by protocol. Black Memorial requests a test to be done, an asbestos test. We don't have history of asbestos, being that this was built in 2002. However, they do that as a safety protocol, which will be getting the report tomorrow. Then they'll start the demolition on their end. I know there's been an adjuster that came to the site on Sunday, walked Southwest High School as well as Spicewood. But right now, they're sending daily updates based on what they see. They do moisture readings every single day through the hallways, through the areas that were affected, and we get those reports on the daily. Do y'all have any questions about Southwest High School?
They're gonna replace the tile? Or,
We're going to meet tomorrow as our staff because we're in a unique situation at Southwest High School. We have a lot of damage possibly with the tile. But Black Memorial does a turnkey type operation where they come in, they restore, they humidify, and then they fix things. But we already had a contractor on, KinCon's there.
Yeah.
So we need to sit down and look at what's the best route for us and cost effective as well, and talk to our insurance adjuster. So there's some paperwork, things that we need to discuss to get that moving. But for the most part, that BCT is probably no good.
No
There's gonna
good.
be areas where drywall is gonna be having to take out and millwork be replaced.
okay.
And so it could be quite extensive and quite expensive. And we just need to figure out, meet with all groups and see what's our best effort, because KinCon has boots on the ground right now and they're ready to go with the fixing things.
Right.
Black Memorial is the group that said they can do it all, but they're there right now to clean up the water, get the dehumidification going, and get us back to where we can actually do the demolition and construction. So we're going to meet to discuss to see what's best for the district, and also run and talk with our insurance.
Our insurance is gonna cover this?
They will, we have a deductible, and so we're gonna look at damage. We already had the adjusters there, so they'll go and they'll give us a proposal, and they'll say this is what the district. Either way, we'll have to pay upfront, and insurance takes a while to pay us back. So we'll
Right.
probably bring something to the board at the next board meeting from fund balance to cover the costs, to get it going, to pay for it. And then we get reimbursed from insurance, once we meet our deductible.
Is the deductible per building or for the
It-
district as a whole?
It is per building,
Mm.
and so it's,
How much is it?
it depends on, there's different levels.
Okay,
And so I'll bring all that back to you,
okay,
just depending on the size and the scope of the project, the different deductibles.
Okay.
And just working out all that stuff with insurance and Black Memorial, and then the role of the contractor that's already there.
Right.
Because the contractor, part of it where it's some flooding is already flooded and there was already issues that they are dealing with, that they're gonna suffer. So there's a lot of things to work out. At
Yeah.
the same time, I know Dr. Bristol, I don't wanna talk, we're working to try to get the students back into the building because there's
Yeah.
parts of the building that are available, and we have other areas that can be used. So the goal is to get students back as quick as possible. We are going to have we already have a construction project going on there.
Yeah, I
It's gonna be
know.
A little bit bigger.
double that.
Yeah.
Okay,
We do plan to bring students back on Monday, using the last wing of the DAEP, which is directly across the street. from Southwest High School, which provides about 12 additional rooms for. So those two campuses working in concert with one another. Mr. Black feels very confident that we can bring students back. We'll close off these sections of the building that you see in red towards the right side. The students that have good access because the flooring is tile in the mall or the foyer. Those areas will be accessible. So we probably will not be using the fine arts area.
Right.
But we think we can put the rest of the students between the Crossroads Center and Southwest High School and CTE and that kind of triangle. Students who have chosen face-to-face can start on Monday and continue the face-to-face instruction. It's going to be really inconvenient and another level of difficulty for the teachers, but they are used to it and they'll embrace it and make the best of it.
Were any of these areas under any type of warranty? And will it be affected?
Well, warranties more if it's like a
Yeah, but
malfunction, but
my
not
concern would the warranty be affected by what happened?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Well, the floor is not very old, but they don't warranty based on the buildings.
Right.
That's where our insurance will come in. But most of the stuff, it's gonna be like, really, it's drywall, flooring, and not a lot of technology was impacted by that. It went down, it was on the floor. And so technology wise, I don't think we had any MDF rooms that really got impacted for the network. So we should be okay there on that, but that's why we have the insurance adjusters going in and they really go through an audit and make it a good list for us.
Thank you. Any other questions?
All right,
Gracias.
The next one is Slogan Middle School. And that project right now is currently being done by Bartlett Cox. On the second floor, we took over corridor 200. In that area, all of the classrooms have received VCT flooring, the drywall painted, ceiling grid and lighting. Right now, they're moving into the corridor. The ceiling grid has been installed as well as the painting has been initiated. All of the lockers on the corridors have also been touched up. The restroom has received the ceramic tile and the plumbing fixtures will be coming shortly as well as the partitions. That's on the second floor. Next coming up activities will be just to finalize the ceiling tile, finish all of the lighting, the plumbing, and then set up a final walk with the Bexar County Fire Marshal. On the first floor, half of the administrative area was completed right before we left for this winter storm. So the campus was able to move in to that administration wing, which is where the counselors are. That area, again, all new ceiling tile, lighting, flooring, painting, and millwork was completed on that project. And I'll just show you a quick plan of the area. So everything that's in dark gray has been completed by Bartlett Cox. And currently, as of Saturday, they were also off the premises last week due to weather, but everything that's in red is what they currently are occupying. So it's the other half of the administration area, life skills, administration area, stage, and the athletic locker rooms as well. That's all on the first floor. On the second floor, this is the area, the 300 corridor is what was completed and turned over and now being occupied by Scobie. The 200 corridor is what's currently being worked on. And after that, it will be library and the 100 corridor that takes is being taken over. Any questions on Scobie? All right, third project, our Natatorium project. Again, this one, due to weather last week, Doris was not able to mobilize on site. They did start mobilizing back on Saturday. However, they're right before last week, they were blowing and going. They're doing rough baiting all throughout the site. We have 187 piers, To date, they have drilled 95 piers, so they're right at 50% already in drilling piers. In the next couple of weeks, we're gonna have rough utilities going in. We're meeting with utility contractors. We'll be bringing in or digging in for the water, utilities, gas, and electric. But as of right now, that's pretty much the update on the Southwest Natatorium. Is there any questions with the Natatorium? In terms of other construction updates, we're still waiting for the final phase of the HVAC upgrades, which is McCullough, all air handlers at McCullough, and the transportation department. We have met with 2 different districts that have 2 different types of bus wash stations. We met and we grouped with the transportation department director, as well as Mark Figueroa, Tamayo, and their supervisor, just to go over and scope. San Antonio ISD was one of them that we went and looked at. That one's been operational for 3 years, so we're able to really ask questions on what best system or what's the preference on their system. As of right now, we're just waiting on RVK, which is the architect for this project, to provide us what we've done in the past, which is kind of a longer list of items for the renovation project. That way we can come and present budgetary numbers to y'all. Any questions on the transportation department? Now, I know we've discussed this, but part of this is the list that I handed over to you all. We had overall 10 of our 18 campuses that had some sort of issue, water damage, backflow, irrigation out of our 18 campuses. The one being the worst, of course, is Southwest High School, followed by Spicewood Elementary, and we have also at Legacy, some of the chillers, the piping on the chillers froze, and it needs to be addressed. But again, our department mobilized as quick as possible. Pending weather, we were able to bring people out here. Part of our contractors also that are on call were able to make it. Allied, which was one of them we used for our sprinkler system. Just like everybody else, again, parts are going to be hard to come by, and we're addressing items and prioritizing. If it doesn't affect the students in water or safety, if it's irrigation, we're trying to address it as quick as possible. But there has been kind of a priority set list for our projects and repairs. One of the items I do want to point out or bring out is the Spicewood Park, which I also handed you guys a copy. On this one, it was about 16 classrooms that were affected. The sprinkler head, same, Southwest High School busted on the corridor right by the exit. Here, campus custodians were able, we didn't lose power, so we're able to use our machines immediately, sucking up water, but 18 classrooms were affected, as well as the corridor, the 100 and 200 corridor. Black Mooring is also taking on this project, and they already have the humidification machines and air circulation throughout the classroom. And here are just some of the images, just how quickly water can make damage to the campus.
So this project, we do have Black Mooring on site, and they are turnkey, so this is probably, we don't have another contractor as far as, so this is probably where we use Black Mooring to kind of go in, they redo the remediation, and then they go back in and do the construction piece. So this will be a little different project. We probably would keep them here to let them finish, because there's going to be drywall, ceiling tile. I don't think we have VCT in Spicewood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got that one. This will probably be another item as we start getting proposals. Our first step is just to get the school back up and running, so we'll bring it back to you all, and then we'll be working with our entrance and seeing where the deductibles are and where we're going to be at.
Once you know things, truck custodians, it doesn't look like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's a lot different now.
I have a question for you, and it's an odd question. Because my question is, do you have any thoughts about why some schools were affected so adversely and others seem to be fine? And did it have anything to do with running with, at our house, we had to run the pipes.
Yeah.
Did it have anything to do with the strategies we used as the storm came about?
Yeah, I think that, we would, I don't know, because where we had the leaks, and we didn't probably have to talk with Outlet or sprinkler system, because I think we had pipes bust mostly outside that were not covered up correctly, but not in the buildings where we had these issues with sprinkler damage.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I don't know, based on our strategy, if we could go in there and turn the sprinkler heads off and drain the water and leave the building unsecured for a fire hazard. I don't know, we may have to look into it. I'm sure up north they deal with this, and I don't know.
It may be a good question to ask and pursue.
That is a good question.
Maybe there's some things we could have done had we known to do that. And maybe as we design these things, we will learn something that would help us as well.
Absolutely. That's a great question. It's a great question we should ask them too, and see how we can mitigate, because this storm where we had the severe damage, it's been the sprinkler system.
Yeah.
And then when the sprinkler system happens, it just covers everything. It just keeps coming.
It's a pretty good regional question too. I'm gonna tell you, my superintendent meetings, 90% of the water damage come from the same, it came from the fire sprinkler, mostly from the heads popping off, getting too cold. So maybe there is a different material or a different engineered structure that they use up north that's maybe different. Yeah, it's something to look at.
I wonder if power outages had anything to do with it. Maybe power outages causing a colder building.
Yeah, that in itself too, yeah, it's just, if it's, the building's freezing and the pipes are freezing.
I'm sure you'll get all the answers for us.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll never have this again. I'm not here if it does happen again in 30 years. But we need to be ready.
Yeah, it could happen next year.
I mean, the cost of it may, because of what's happened these might be quite costly to fix. I mean, something we need to look at in the strategy.
Now that you said that, it's probably gonna be next year again.
Come on, sir.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, monthly tax report. How are we doing, Barry?
This time last year we were collecting rate was about 75%. We're actually at 78%. So it's really good. We're up about
That is good.
3%, a little under 3% for this. It's been a couple months.
Let's get it before the new electric bills come in. Okay, monthly financial report and investment report. Anything you want to point out, Brian?
No, sir.
Board members, you've had that before you. Does anyone have any questions on it?
I will say for the investment report, there's very limited investment. So there's no really great interest rates out there to be involved in. It's mostly pools that we're using, the tech pool.
Okay. As you can see, my name's not on the gifts and bequests. Any questions there? Enrollment report. Review of purchases over 50,000. Calendar of events. Or do we have any calendar of events that we want to point out?
Sir?
Any events coming up that you want to point out?
I know we have the Southwest Education Foundation golf tournament coming up in March 19th.
March 19th, it'll be on a Friday this year. That is a little bit different. It will be on a Friday. It will be at Golf Club in Texas, where it's been held the last few years.
211.
And it is going to be, of course, making sure that we're practicing social distancing and doing all of the proper safety procedures and precautions. So it will be kind of an abbreviated golf tournament. They are not going to have a full kind of, no down meal or anything like that. Safety first, of course, but this is a great opportunity for our foundation to fundraise, since they unfortunately have had to postpone multiple events and cancel events over the last year. So this is the one that they're looking to get back to. And I'll make sure at the next meeting, next week, your board work session or whatever, that we'll bring you guys and save the date so that you can have a written copy of that as well.
Okay, proposed school calendars. Who's going to test that one?
Good evening, President Vasquez,
Good evening.
board members. It's good to see you again. I put 2 draft calendars in front of you. Basically, our process, I formed a committee this year to look at the calendars. I had Raymond Tamayo from Sky Harbor, Denise Hernandez from Legacy, Nathan Cadores from HR department, and Richard Flores from CNI. We all got together, and Dr. Patty Escobedo as well. We got together, we made 5 draft calendars. We followed the pattern that we usually see from our neighbors around us. We went to the district improvement team and let them look at it. They voted, got some input from their campuses and voted and gave us 3 finalists that I took to senior staff. And from that, we narrowed it down to 2. They should be in front of you. One of the things you'll notice is that the spring break, we've moved to, usually we do it the second week, but we're going to go down to the 3rd week and start on the 14th. And that's the same on both calendars. Both calendars are the exact same in the fall, and it follows the normal pattern that we have. Of course, we know, given what happened this year with COVID, it's subject to change. But as far as what we're anticipating next year, going back to our regular pattern where we take that PD day in October, we do the 2 flex days around Thanksgiving, and then we get into December. We take those last 2 weeks for a winter break. Looking in the spring, the difference between the 2 calendars is on draft 1. You'll notice that we'd take an Easter Monday as a holiday. And then on the other draft, which was draft 3, we would take a holiday on President's Day and do a staff development day earlier in February and not take Easter Monday off. Our normal pattern is, as I show you guys these draft calendars, we take them to the staff for voting. We'll send it out tomorrow and let everybody vote on it, take a big vote across the district. I'll come back with those results at our next board meeting, and you'll be able to vote for approval at that time. Any questions?
I'm guessing most other districts are also moving that spring break.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, now item J, Southwest Legacy High School Campus Athletic Coordinator and Head Football Coach Selection.
Yes, sir. This is an item we wanted to bring. As you know, we have a vacancy in the Southwest Legacy head football coach. And so we've been asked to bring that process and further explain what that looks like through the vetting process. And so I think we have Coach Wagner, who's going to join virtually. And since he is the lead of that division and that department, he normally takes the lead on this, and he's working in concert with our administration, human resource, and our talent management department as well to kind of put some parameters and guardrails on what that looks like. So we'd like to present that information to the board, what the process looks like, and then move forward with it. So, Coach Wagner?
Yes, sir. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
So I want to thank everybody for having me today. First thing I want to do when it comes to this, I want to really thank Coach Tarbin for all he's done for our program and starting it. He's been a big help, and as we move forward as well, and working with Mr. Guidry. In presenting this process, I want to begin with thanking Leslie McClellan and Dr. Fay and Daniel Barsones, because they've really helped us to, we've tried to model this after our how we do our principals and vice principals this time. And so that's what I'm going to share right now and what that timeline looks like. Oops, wrong one. You have to give me 1 second. I got to learn how to share my screen here.
It's at the bottom.
Roger, I might need a little help.
It'll be at the bottom, sir. It should say share screen.
1 second. This is the one problem that I was scared of.
Is it, are you using a tablet, or are you using a PC or Mac?
PC, sir.
Okay, it should be at the very bottom. you should have something that said where the mute button is and the start button, that bottom. Is there a bottom toolbar? There should be one right in the middle that says share screen.
Got it. Let's see here. Can you see that now?
Not yet, sir. Make sure you hit the bottom where, once it pops up, make sure you hit the button that says share.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure you pick share screen. So,
I don't see that on here when I open it up. In 1 second. Okay.
You guys have it in your packet? Yeah.
oh, there it goes.
There we go.
Got it?
Oh,
Yay! All right. Sorry, sir. Thank you.
Yay, me. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started here. So this is our athletic coordinator process, head coach process. Okay, the first thing is, here's our timeline. We posted the job on February the 4th, and it closed last Thursday. We went ahead and started, what we did was we scanned all the applicants. We had close to 40 applicants for the job this time. And so we went through there, and all we did was we went ahead and looked at our head football coach profile, or our coordinator profile, and our job description. And we only took out those who did not qualify based on what the job description was. And they were sent a letter through HR explaining what was going on. The rest of those candidates who qualified were sent a professional assessment portfolio assignment. And so we sent that out on Monday morning. And what that is basically, it is about 5 or 6 questions of assignments that they do based on like an academic plan. What kind of character development have they done and results that they've shown? All of those types of things, the same types of things we do for principals. That will be due on Thursday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. Once we get that, you'll see our team. We have a portfolio assessment team that will individually grade each of those portfolios that are sent in, and those top ones that are scored and chosen, then we'll bring in probably 4 or 5 for interviews. Those interviews will happen on March the 3rd, and then we'll have the final interview with Dr. Verstuff and Mr. Rodriguez, myself, and Mr. Guidry on Thursday the 4th, and then we'll bring it to the board at the 16th board meeting in March. So the portfolio team is what's here on the board. Tanya Martinez is on there twice, so I apologize for that. But those are the people who will be assessing the credentials of each of those people. And then we'll have the interview team. This interview team is pretty much what we want to do is keep it pretty similar to what we did last year when we hired for Southwest High School. So this is pretty much the same thing. Mr. Guidry and I thought that, Coach Tarvin's done a great job, and we wanted him to, he knows the campus and everything that goes on best, and we wanted him to be a part of that interview process to give us even more insight into what's going on and who might be the best fit in that area. Then the final interview team, and then I think Dr. Versa said that we might be adding Mr. Guidry as well. Are there any questions on that?
I have a comment that I would like to make. It's not necessarily to you, Coach Wagner, but just for us to kind of think about and consider, and maybe not necessarily for this. Obviously, this is already taking place and it's already at the start. But I've been thinking about the fact that that our athletic coordinator position is directly tied to the head football coach position. And what that does, it effectively denies the opportunity for all the female coaches. They basically hit a glass ceiling in our system because they're not typically head football coaches. And I wonder if it's time for us to start to consider separating these two positions so that all of our coaches have the opportunity to be athletic coordinators, depending, of course, on their experience and what they bring to the table and their background. And like I said, it's probably, for this position right now today is probably, too late, but definitely in the future, in the near future, the next time this position opens up, we should start talking about that or having a conversation about that?
Great comment. I know that Mr. Bernal and I talked a little bit about the same issue yesterday when we had a one-on-one prior to the meeting. That issue did come up. So we did talk about that. I know that we do have coordinator positions at both campuses. So we want some time to go back through and do our research on this particular issue, because I think it kind of speaks to the equity issue.
Right.
And are we creating inequities unintentionally by associating those responsibilities with that position?
Correct.
And true, because knowing in Texas, 99.99% of football coaches are normally male. And so we're going to go back and look at the structure, do some research around our local area in Texas. One thing we don't want to do is, if we know of an inequity, we want to create an equitable outcome. So we're looking at, do we have 2 coordinators on each of our high schools and split that kind of stipend opportunity up? Or do, I think if I remember right, going back to the history of this, part of that may have been to make sure we keep the competitive salary in that position.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
So it's a great point. Definitely need some research on our side. And we'll definitely take that information and we'll bring something back to the board looking at that. Because I think it is an issue that we may have unwittingly created, but we need to go back and look at it.
Okay, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. If you had anything to add, Brandon?
No. We'll definitely research and look.
We did bring that up in our senior staff meeting today and talked about it.
Thank you. Yes,
Very good.
I want to commend Peter too. Peter brought his whole team with him kind of along the journey to learn. So he's done a great job of mentoring both his assistant athletic director and the female coordinator. They were all involved in that process. And so we're very thankful for them to join us on this journey. So thank you, Coach Wagner.
Thank you very much.
It's very exciting that we are, that this process is, the tentacles are going out, right? So this is a very important position, obviously. And that's great, Peter, that you guys are getting the opportunity to use these processes.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach Wagner.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Item 7, we'll postpone till we go into closed session. Item 8A, consider approval of the submission of the application for the truancy prevention and intervention grant and grant resolution.
Yes, and we have Adrian Ramirez with us. Are you there, Adrian?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, and Adrian has led this charge. This will be our third year applying for this grant. Him and his team do a phenomenal job, and so he's going to present to you our next opportunity for that truancy grant. So go ahead, Adrian.
Good evening, Board President Vasquez, board members, Dr. Verstev, and senior leaders. The Office of the Governor, Public Safety Office, has announced funding through the Criminal Justice Division for the Truancy Prevention and Intervention Program for fiscal year 2022. This grant would provide funding through reimbursement for a truancy prevention and intervention program that would benefit all campuses and students in Southwest ISD. It would also allow for the continued employment of 7 truancy prevention liaisons, formerly known as juvenile case managers, hired through previous year's grants, who would be assigned specific campuses. Their roles would be to work closely with students, parents, and campus attendance teams to increase student attendance and prevent chronic absenteeism that could result in loss of credits and dropping out. These truancy prevention liaisons would develop and utilize new interventions and continue using existing interventions aligned with current initiatives and programs. The grant would also allow for the continued employment of 1 coordinator to oversee the efforts of all 7 liaisons. The ultimate goal would be to increase student attendance rates across all campuses and in the district, increase student achievement, and prevent student dropouts. The Truancy Prevention and Intervention Grant Resolution outlines various conditions that must be agreed upon by Southwest ISD and must be submitted as part of the application process. The recommendation is that the board approve the submission of the application for the Truancy Prevention and Intervention Grant and Grant Resolution.
Thank you, Adrian. Any questions for Adrian?
How successful is this
I don't think we prepared any data for you, but I can honestly share anecdotally from the lens of a principal and from them, is that they are a critical component to making sure that our kids are constantly being contacted, and if we can't contact them, they're in their homes and they're trying to get with them. I think that if I could wrap it up in one sentence, it would be a position that they wouldn't want to ever lose. Our attendance this year is really good because the state allows us some different ways to do that. I would also say Dr. Berster probably has more data than I do, but we've only lost contact with less than 70 kids, Adrian. It's like 60 kids. Yes, that's huge. So we've done a really good job. COVID and has kind of, played a part in whether or not this has impacted us in a great way or not. But I think it has definitely been something that's really positive.
Yeah. I think COVID really kind of interrupted what we know would have been really great numbers in the arena of attendance. I know in comparison conversations have with my counterparts in San Antonio, our disconnect with students is much less than the numbers I'm hearing around. And I think that has to do with having viable bodies out in the district, constantly knocking on doors and constantly talking to folks and finding our students. And though the idea is that this grant will ultimately pay for itself by increasing attendance 1 to 2% district-wide, that we may not be able to achieve that since we are in COVID and the kind of parameters have changed. But our students staying connected to school, I can promise you, it's a lot better here at Southwest than what I'm seeing around. And we'll definitely do those numbers and kind of do a comparison with other districts.
Are we the only district that has this program, or do all the Southside districts, or do you know?
No, I think this program, East Central had it like 4 years ago. And I think this is our second or third year.
This will be our third year.
I don't know of any others others have different types of programs, but not one that supports the number of caseworkers that this one does. It supports about 7 to 9 caseworkers that are constantly out in the neighborhood.
That's a huge amount of
And that's
people.
a direct relationship to the Adrian's ability to communicate in writing.
Yes.
He does an incredible job of submitting and creating that application for those funds. And he works diligently with all the team members across the system. And so hats off to him. He's very passionate about it.
Yes.
And he just does a great job with it. So
thank you.
If we don't get the grant, are we thinking of just putting it in our own budget eventually, or what?
That's been our history. All members of that team do sign when they're employed with the district that this is a grant funded position, and in the event that the funds are not available, then they could potentially. Our district has always done an incredible job of trying to absorb our employees through other funding sources. Principals also have the option of creating some funds or kind of carving out funds to support those roles themselves. And so we will definitely work with Brandon and his team in the event that we lose funds or we don't get the grant monies to try to mitigate for that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you.
I don't know what's going on the whiteboard behind you, but I don't want no part of it, Adrian.
He's very detailed.
Looks like
Every now and then I go in and increase it.
Okay, board members, we have a recommendation.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion that the board approve the submission of the application for the Truancy Prevention and Intervention Grant and Grant Resolution. There is a second. Any other questions or discussions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. And thank you, Adrian.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see where we're at here. Okay, we already took care of B. Business and Finance, item 9. Consider approval of increase to district mileage rate.
Yes, sir. The Texas Comptroller has updated the state of Texas mileage rate to 58 cents per mile. We currently are at 55 cents. And so we are coming to the board to make to get to the same level as the state of Texas. So this is for any employee or non-employee that travels in district business. They get paid the 58 cents instead of 55 to reimburse them for their use of their vehicle and their travel. So today we're asking the board to approve the increase in the travel mileage rate to 58 cents. This will go effective March 1st. We don't have a lot of traveling going on this year, so it really won't impact this year's budget. We do have some employees that travel from campus to campus that take advantage of this. But I think this is more for the future, but we're just trying to get on the same level as the state of Texas.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. The board approve the increase to the travel and mileage reimbursement rate to 58 cents per mile beginning March 1st this year. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Consider approval of the ATTE station statement for ADA hold harmless beyond the first 2 6-week reporting periods.
Yes, sir. This, if you recall, when we came back to school in early August, the state of Texas approved for us to be hold harmless for the first 2 6 weeks of school. And what that means, when I say hold harmless, on attendance, I know as we go through the budget in the spring, our goal is to look at attendance projected for the next year, and that's how we get paid a lot of our money from the foundation school program. And so the state of Texas, because of COVID, allowed us to be wrong, or not, if our projections are off, then they were protecting us and they were using data from our 18-19 school year. So if we had tremendous losses in attendance, they would kick in that formula base and we would be held harmless and they would give us the funding that we had for 18-19. They extended that for an additional 6 weeks. So the third 6 weeks, which they didn't previously approve, they did approve it. There were some stipulations that we had to stay open and offer face-to-face instruction for the whole third 6 weeks, which we did. That's why I'm bringing it to you today, because I wanted to make sure that we stayed open face-to-face the whole third 6 weeks and not get shut down. And so tonight, the attestation is for us to approve the attestation and take advantage of the hold harmless. Looking at our data, I'm not sure we're going to use it. Although our enrollment's down, our ADA has been pretty strong. And so as we go through, we get to use the better of the two. So if our ADA stays strong, we won't be using it, but we want to have it in our back pocket just in case as we go through and start reconciling our attendance, something happens, we have this hold harmless in our back pocket to make sure that at least for the first 3 6 weeks of the school year, we are covered and get the same funding that we got in 18-19. Now, I say 18-19 because it's not 19-20. So we're going back they're going back almost a year and using that data. So if we do run into trouble with attendance and our FTEs, they will step in and use that data to fund us.
Okay.
So that's the recommendation. The board approved the attestation so we can submit to TDA for the waiver.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that the board approve the ATE station statement for ADA hold harmless for the third 6 weeks reporting period. Board members, any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, consider approval to increase scope of work on RFP 1920-124 Security System Access Project.
Yes, the Southwest ISD Board of Trustees approved 360 integrated back in August of 2020 for the Security System Access Project. This was to include access readers at 5 of our campuses to be used as a pilot. During the design and verification of the 5 campuses, district staff agreed that there would be some additional scope, additional doors like the MDF rooms, IDF rooms, locker room entrances that are pretty frequently used by staff and students to be part of this scope. However, this will require a change order to increase 360's contract. The change order is not to exceed $47,500 to the contract for 360 and the security system access. Our recommendation is that the board approve a change order not to exceed $47,500 to 360 integrated contract for security system access. And again, this will be budgeted or funded by locally budgeted funds.
Board members, any questions?
No, I move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that the board approve change order not to exceed 47.5 to the 360 integrated contract for security system access projects of RFP 1920-124.
Thank you.
Hearing no questions, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Rebecca. C&I, consider approval of purchase from Lead Forward.
Yes, thank you. So we have here two. So the first one is a consideration of approval of purchase. So we do have 3 of our campuses that are comprehensive. They receive comprehensive support from the state. In addition to that, they also have to create an additional plan, which is part of the targeted improvement plan. And in that plan, they went ahead and added some additional professional development. And so due to COVID, most of our development is happening virtually. And so now they've, these 3 campuses, which is McAuliffe, McNair, Legacy, they've opted to contract and to work with Lead Forward. So here we have, again, McAuliffe, McNair, Legacy, who would like to partner up. And we're looking at an expense of not to exceed $170,000 for professional development. So we would like to recommend this to the board, and also if you would approve this purchase.
Board members, any questions?
I move. I second.
We have a motion and a second that the board approve the purchase from Lead Forward for the 2020-21 school year not to exceed $170,000. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Consider approval of contract with the Tobin Center to purchase the pre-K Wolf Trap curriculum.
Yes, so we have a great opportunity, and so we are here to ask the board to consider the approval of the contract with the Tobin Center. They have a very specific stream of work, which is with early childhood. And so we have had to repurpose and even amend some of the funds. Initially, these funds were going to be used to provide furniture and resources for 3 classrooms. And due to the COVID, we have had some decrease in enrollment. So the beautiful thing about this program that we're bringing to you is called the Wolf Trap Program. And so it's going to get the content, and they're going to immerse music, dance, puppetry, dramatic play into the pre-K classrooms. In addition to that, each pre-K teacher that is funded with Pre-K for SA, they're going to be even working with a coach. So they're going to have someone right alongside them learning and making all that pre-K classroom a lot of fun. So we are here to ask the board if you would approve the contract with the Tobin Center.
These are funds we normally get from Pre-K for SA repurposing to make.
That's correct, yes.
Board members, any questions?
How long is this contract gonna last?
So we're going to begin the work at the end of February, and then it's going to last all the way to June the 4th.
June the 4th of this year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just real quick, did you say it's for all of the?
It's with a Pre-K for SA grant. 3 classrooms were closed, or we didn't have to use those funds. So it's going to be for the Pre-K for SA classrooms. And it would be for those teachers with Pre-K for SA grant funded. It would be working with a coach in the Tobin Center.
Do we have those? Which schools? Is that Sun Valley? Who is it?
Right now, at the top of my head, I would not remember the schools.
I can tell you here at the end.
Okay.
Well, that's okay. I mean, so it's not for the pre-K classes that are outside of the San Antonio, like Elm Creek. Do they have pre-K?
So I know they all have pre-K, but right now we do have Head Start, and we also have pre-K for SA, and then we have local pre-K funded.
Yeah, it would just be for the kids that are in the pre-K for SA class.
Yeah, so.
And we're looking at maybe seven classrooms.
So is there something that we can do for the pre-K classes, like at Elm Creek, probably? Who else would be affected? Southwest Elementary?
Big Country.
Big Country.
So one thing that we have done is during the professional development, we've opened it up to all the pre-K teachers.
No, I know, but I mean.
The coaching part?
For the Tobin Center, you know, we can't staff develop enough to match the Tobin Center, right?
I will say that for the Head Start classrooms, they have their own curriculum, and so we can't really change that. But for the pre-K classes that we staff with our classrooms.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to look at how much it would cost for us to offer that enrichment to them as well.
I think what normally happens in this case, it's a really great point. So you just leave some students who get access to some who do not. What we've been able to do in the past, and this curriculum is not supplanting anything, this is supplemental to what we have. We bring this into those schools that are already identified. Pre-K for SA has been nothing but gracious when we request additional opportunities for folks to participate. So if we see the value return on this and we want to include the other campuses, I'm sure it'd be at a very minimal rate or that we even extend that. And so I think it's a great point. I think let's get in, let's bring the program in, start the training, and then we can include those campuses that maybe not have a pre-K for SA designated program.
Okay, thank you.
But we will. It's a good point to raise. So all of our kids have access to the best, right?
Yes.
So we definitely will apply that.
So these
Any other questions?
so there's 3 closures or the 3 classrooms. Were they at a certain school or?
They weren't classrooms closed. They were going to use the money to replace furniture across multiple classrooms. But since there's a lot of empty seats, they feel like they could use the funds to do something better with it for this year because of COVID, instead of buying a bunch of furniture and it sits idle.
This is what you're seeing all across Texas and the nation with COVID. More families are opting to keep their younger children, pre-K children, age home. And so this is providing the opportunity to use those funds differently. Hopefully, post-COVID, all those students are sitting on those seats in all of our pre-K classes.
Fingers crossed. Any other questions? Hearing none, I need a motion.
I move.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. The board approve the contract with the Tobin Center to purchase the Wolf Trap curriculum as presented. No further discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, board.
Consider approval to rename Hidden Cove Elementary to Hidden Cove STEAM Academy pre-K through 6th grade.
Yes, thank you. Again, Mr. President, board, Dr. Verstow, we've been coming to you through brown bags and sharing with you pieces of information of the work that has been put together, you know, with the investment of even some professional development for our principal, Ms. Myers. And so tonight we have almost like our grand finale of, you know, the culminating of this project. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to Ms.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Board President, board members, Dr. Verstow, and senior leaders. Thank you for allowing me to present to you today. So I want to start off, all of you should have the STEAM Academy binder in front of you. And so I just wanted to briefly go over some updates with you about the program, about the Trinity School Design Network and what we have here. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. B. You had the other that I could give you. Okay, so in this really quick, I just wanted to go through this very quickly with you so that you see just a small snippet of what it is that we have done. I know we brought this information to you and we've spoken about it, but I haven't given you, I talked about it, but now I wanted to just go through and briefly show you just a little piece of it. I have a lot more, but I tried to make it just to where I was at least giving you some information so you could go through it. So I'll just walk you through it really quickly. After the first divider, you'll see the stakeholder-driven mission and vision. Behind that, you'll see the work that we did with the new mission and vision for Hidden Cove and how it's projected, and we have it on every hallway. We also send it out in our flyers, so that's just an example there for you. On the next tab, we have the Empowered School Culture and Climate. This front page here also lets you know everything that's been done and the things that we are currently still working on, so you can look into that. Behind that, you have some samples of surveys that we've sent out, and after that, you should have the survey results that we have back here, and you can look through those. The next tab is Strong Equity-Based Academic Model. And that's where you'll see our academic model that we're basing off of the 17 sustainable goals that's going to be campus-wide. I also included samples of lesson plans in here for you so that you can see how it is cross-curricular. And PBL is practiced in every single content area, even specials. You'll have the daily schedule that hopefully we can go with next year. On the next tab, we've got clear and effective communications and marketing. There's our communications plan that you should have next. And some logos that had been created. And also the recruitment schedule for enrollment. Again, this is just a sample of some items so that you see the work that has gone into it. The next tab, we've got data-driven continuous improvement. And you'll see a sample of how it is that we create the goals aligned to the Southwest ISD pacing guides and the 17 sustainable goals. And you'll also just get a copy here of the professional development and what we define learning that we're using to make sure that 100% of our teachers are PBL trained. The next tab is nurturing human capital and developing talent. This first paperclip section that you have has the administrator profile, teacher, campus leader, teacher, scholar, and parent profiles here aligned to the Southwest ISD commitments. And the next paperclip item is our interview questions that we have here that specifically look for a growth mindset. The next tab is effective governance structures. And there you will see our leadership team and some of the partnerships that we've built. And finally, we've got values aligned facilities and operations, where you will see a copy of what we will have posted for our admissions and lottery process. There's also a QR code there that we plan to send out that'll have a video, our numbers that we have currently enrolled in the spaces that we have open, this student application, a teacher interest form, and then we have at the very end, you'll see some numbers for furniture that would be conducive to the type of learning that students would be doing through PBL, and just a little picture of our cafeteria and what we hope to eventually get like. We have pieces of it. Oh, I'm sorry, and there's one more in the back, the authentic family community engagement, where it shows all of the extracurricular and co-curricular courses and activities that will be available, and the rubrics that we will use during presentations and showcases of the projects that's made. I want to go ahead and hand it over to Dr. Flores, who is the Executive Director for the Trinity School Design Network.
Yeah. Good evening, folks. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thumbs up. Wonderful. Well, first and foremost, thank you very much for having me, members of the board, President Vasquez, Dr. Verstup. My name is Dr. Alex Flores. I'm the Executive Director for the Trinity School Design Network with Trinity University. And we're showing up here today, essentially in just unanimous support for the work that Ms. Myers has been engaging in. Ms. Myers was part of our inaugural cohort with the Trinity School Design Network. She has literally put in hundreds of hours in developing this program over the course of a year-long fellowship, and then with the 2 follow-up years of coaching and support that we are committed to doing. The work that she's engaged in transforming the campus has been second to none. There's been a lot of work that is done in really securing the authentic stakeholder input from the community, from the parents, to really figure out what is the kind of school that the community believes that they're looking for. And Ms. Myers has done just an exceptional job all of the sections that you see in your binders, whether we're talking about the mission and vision or the culture and the climate or the type of academic model that you see, have all been the part of the curriculum that we have worked over the course of that fellowship year, where we've had content experts, we've had our Trinity faculty, we've also had the opportunity to have high quality field experiences. Ms. Myers had the opportunity to visit several campuses, not only within the state, but also outside of the state across the country to see what some of the more innovative schools look like. And in conversations with Dr. Verstoff and the district, the senior leadership team, we really said, is this is a partnership and an opportunity that would also be a great fit for the district, for Southwest ISD. And that was also a unanimous consensus that, yes, this is something that the district is ripe for. And we're just happy to be part of the process and to be in partnership with the school district. So what you see here with the presentation that Ms. Myers is showing to you folks and the work that you see before you, it's just the culmination of all the countless hours, the hard work and the effort, commitment and dedication that has occurred from top to bottom, starting from the principal to senior leadership team, the campus support staff, to the district superintendent, Dr. Verstoff. We can only say great things about the partnership, and we're really excited for the future for Southwest ISD with this addition of this transformation of this campus. And at this point, if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to entertain them at this point, if you have any questions for me.
I have. Dr. Flores, first of all, thank you for your partnership with us. When we were presented the idea at the last board meeting, I did ask about the possible problem of having a rigorous, academy at Hidden Cove, but not including all of the kids of Hidden Cove. So am I understanding it's not every child that goes to Hidden Cove that's going to be part of the academy, or is it every child that goes to Hidden Cove?
It is every child.
It would be every child.
Where does the 150, because I'm reading the book, it says 150 seats available for pre-K 5th grade scholars.
Yes, so that's only for what I included in there. Those are the numbers for the seats that we still have available in every grade level. So I pretty much took all the extra seats that we had for every grade level and added them up all together. And I said, okay, well, we have 150 because our students that are already there, they're of course they get their first pick. They're going to stay there. And then those are the extra spots we had if we were going to cap out every class.
If other schools want.
If other school, yeah. So if somebody said, well, I want my second grader to go there, well, we have those numbers available.
Okay, so every kindergartner at Hidden Cove is going to be the entire school is going to be a STEAM academy.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because that's not what I understood the first time.
Yeah, we had that same conversation today.
Yes,
and
Dr. Verstoff actually asked me.
Ms. Myers, it's not a school within the school, and it's a full school model.
Mhm.
These are the available vacant seats right now because of students who are working virtually.
Okay, because that's not the impression that I got at the last board
Correct.
meeting.
I apologize. I should have been clearer on that. It is for all students, and that number of the 150 is just the extra available seats that we have left over to cap out every single grade level.
So kids that live in the Elm Creek area could apply to go there. But if you're in the attendance zone for Hidden Cove, you're automatically going to be in that STEAM. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions, board members? On behalf of the board, Mr. Flores, thank you. Ms. Myers, thank you for all the work you've done. Board members, I know we've got a lot of information today, and we've been getting fed different information at different meetings. If you do have a question after, I know each of you are going to read this word for word. But if you have any questions in the future, please address them to our superintendent and he'll get us an answer. Once again, thank you so much. I'm excited. And my understanding is this slot, only action that you're requesting is a changing of the name from Hidden Cove Elementary to Hidden Cove STEAM Academy. Is that correct?
Yes, and to have pre-K through 6th grade starting next year. So those are the two things we are asking.
Okay, so board,
I have a question.
Okay.
I might have missed this somewhere online. But what is the difference between an academy and whatever else there is, school or elementary? What distinguishes the two? And the reason for the question, obvious, is because you can't read this title and really know how it's different than the others.
Yeah.
So could you explain to me just briefly, what is the difference?
Yes, great question. So the difference is that with the STEAM Academy, we would have a focus on science, technology, engineering, art, and math, and we are incorporating project and problem-based learning into every single classroom, every content. So it's vertically and horizontally aligned because with a focus on the 17 sustainable goals as an overarching umbrella over the project-based learning that we're doing and problem-based learning, it's evolving and getting better. And I just want to really thank my teachers. They're awesome because they're really carrying all of this work out and doing such an amazing job. But that's really the difference is they're really engaged in project and problem-based learning, but it is still aligned to the Southwest ISD pacing guides, so it wouldn't affect any of the benchmark testing or anything like that. It's just that extra layer that we're giving them with hands-on approach.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Sure, she does. I'm just, maybe it's just me, but we want it, if it's really good, we want other people to know what the difference is, don't we? Because we don't want to go through a kind of a scenario where anything we do differently is called an academy. You see what I mean? I'm not sure still what makes it an academy and what isn't, but I do understand how this is different than other schools. And because you've done so much work on this, I will vote for it. But I would think about how we describe this to other entities.
Yes.
And Keith, there's nothing to say that we can convert all our elementaries to an academy with a specialization. One could, specialize in health or different career fields or
Fine art.
Right, and that's
fine
what we
arts.
started with.
Well,
So
it sounds like to me what you're saying is that what makes it an academy is it has a specialization.
Yes.
And then we could open them up as schools of choice. And for example, if my grandson lives in a big country area, wants to go to Hidden Cove, they can. And if a child from Hidden Cove wants to go to the Academy at Big Country, they can. So, so it's the beginning, and I'm excited.
I think the idea is to do what Ms. Meyer did, is she engaged her community in understanding what their interests, what their desired personalized education experience looks like. And so you're right, what stops us from doing this everywhere? Nothing. This is a start of giving some autonomy to our campus leadership and to our school communities about helping kind of create. So we also have Bob Hope Elementary and working in concert with Sky Harbor Elementary and doing some personalized education programming. And you'll be hearing from them in the next couple of months as well about what they're looking at. We will be coming back. Well, the reason we're here tonight is Ms. Meyer and her team, her very energetic team. They are competing with messaging and marketing this information to not only the local school community, but the greater San Antonio about what opportunities are there at Hidden Cove Elementary. And so they need the opportunity to kind of roll this information out to brand it and market it. We're going to be coming back either next month or the month after to discuss the startup costs. What we said is that we're trying to create a cost neutral, and it looks like we're going to be able to do that. But there will be some startup costs so they can build the climate within their campus. And a lot of that is done through a lot of the innovative furniture within that campus, creating informal learning opportunities outside the classroom, structures where students have opportunity to engage and have dialogue with each other without saying you have to come to the classroom to learn. Every opportunity, every inch of that campus will be kind of a learning opportunity, whether it be formal or informal for the students. So there are some other desires that I think if we had startup initial costs, to the program that are going to help them get on a much better foot than we just say, yeah, go ahead and do it. But we'll put some support behind them getting started and every campus getting started down the road. And hopefully it increases our enrollment there, and our students are more engaged, and our staff is more engaged, and because they created and built this from the ground up.
Well, and I'd like to make a comment too. I think what has probably stopped us from doing this is having the manpower. I mean, Ms. Myers has put in hundreds of hours into this, and you can see the results of the work. So basically what she's doing is creating a framework or a template for the district in partnership with Trinity University, which I think probably any of our principals would not be able to do this on their own without that kind of expertise and partnership that Trinity has offered us. And I think it's definitely going to be a question that we want to ask ourselves as a district, whether we want all of our schools to follow in the same footsteps, or whether we want maybe one elementary in each geographic area. I think there's a lot of questions that we can ask and answer in regards to following in their footsteps. But basically what they've done is being pioneers in this district in creating that academy framework for the rest of the schools to be able to get on board.
No pressure. No pressure.
You're good. This looks really impressive. And we know that horizontal and the vertical alignment and doing it project-based, that takes a tremendous amount of work. And you have done all the foundational work that sets you up for success. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see what happens in that school. And I'm very excited for the other campuses to catch the bug, and for us to really, for you to be able to push that out into the district in some way, shape, or form, right? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. It's been a lot of work, but it's been fun. It was great learning. Trinity the experience was amazing. Just seeing what was out there and what we could do. And I saw it over there and thought, well, we can do this here at Southwest. Why not? Let's make it happen. So thank you so much for just the opportunity to present this to you, and for hearing me out on these things. And really my teachers, I would really want to just thank my teachers, because they've done, and my staff, they've done a phenomenal job of just carrying out this vision and making it a reality. And of course, Ms. Garcia guiding me through it, and Dr. Flores and Dr. Verstup and senior staff gave me a lot of great things to think about just along the way, things like, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? So it was great. And I'm really honored to even just be able to do this for Southwest ISD.
Thank you again.
Very brilliant.
We're here because of Tracy's leadership.
Yep.
We're very proud of you.
And brilliance.
And thank you, Dr. Flores. You're a good man too.
Hey, we appreciate it. Thank you. Our partnership is something that we definitely appreciate and respect, and our success is synonymous with yours. So anything that we can do to continue to support the district, we're here to serve.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
And I do have a quick short, it's a 1-minute video that kind of it explains a lot of what the Academy is all about.
Okay.
So I will go ahead and end with that. We can play it.
Hidden Cove STEAM Academy is a college preparatory school that provides a rigorous, high-quality education focused on science, technology, engineering, art, and math to pre-kindergarten through 6th grade scholars. We believe in fostering children's natural curiosity at an early age by instilling a love for learning through cross-curricular, project and problem-based learning. Scholars will lead our campus as innovative and creative critical thinkers with strong collaboration and communication skills mandatory for success in high school, college, and the workforce. Our system would be perfect if your child is interested in STEAM career fields and enjoys working on projects, exploration, problem solving, and using technology daily. Science, technology, engineering, art, and math is cross-curricular and integrated into every lesson. One-to-one technology with hands-on, project, and problem-based learning at each student's individualized learning project. Collaborative, inclusive learning environments with flexible learning choices intentionally created to encourage student discourse, innovation, and problem solving. Strong emphasis on academics, student achievement, creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking. Hidden Code STEAM Academy will provide an innovative educational experience which meets the needs of modern learners.
My Legos
Thank
never
you.
did all that. Okay, now we'll entertain the motion, board member.
I move. Second.
A motion and a second, the board approved the renaming of Hidden Cove Elementary to Hidden Cove STEAM Academy, and that it will serve pre-K through 6th grade. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, fellow board members, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All against, same sign. Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you again, Mr. Flores and Ms. Myers. Good night. I mean, I'm talking to Mr. Flores. Unless you want to stay, you're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Hey, any other day I would take you up on your offer, but I'll let you folks continue on with you. Have yourselves a great night, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sir. Okay, before we go into closed session, do you have your one more item?
I do not, sir.
Oh, somebody write this down.
I want to thank Dalila. I know she's been working in concert with Tracy and the whole curriculum team there. So many people to thank all the time. People stepping up, facility child nutrition curriculum. Just really proud to be part of a group that always look, how do we get better? How do we bring in innovation? And how do we enhance the experiences of our students and create better outcomes so they look better lives? And that's what it's all about. And we have years of people doing that every day. So I want to thank them.
Okay.
And thank you all. Without your support, it doesn't go anywhere.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. As permitted. Are we good? Okay, as permitted by sections 551.001-551.146 of the Texas Government Code and pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, discussion on personnel and administrator employment, resignation, reassignments, leaves of absences, contract renewals. In accordance with Texas Government Code Section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property, we will now go into closed session at 7:43. Call the regular meeting back into order at 8:25. In regards to A and B of items 11. Do we have a motion?
I move we approve the superintendent's recommendation on personnel.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Anyone have any announcements to make? Board members? Lloyd?
Yes, sir. Just a reminder, because this meeting was postponed, you will see us next Tuesday at a brown bag work session here, 11:30 a.m. We do have some items that we are prepared to bring to dive into a little further. I would ask any board member who would like to include an item for further study or to have an exchange of dialogue, please send that to me in an email, and I'll get it to the appropriate division leader or myself so that we can include what you would like to have a conversation around. So just want to offer that opportunity to our trustees as well. I want to thank you. I know we just finished Board Appreciation Month, but every month should be Board Appreciation Month. We appreciate everything you do, your contribution to our youth, our community, just for being great folks. So we want to thank our staff too, helping us get through the winter week and taking care of their own homes, but also taking care of the home here for our students and staff as well.
Can I just say one thing? I just want to let everybody know that during the food distribution, that Gloria Rankin called me and asked me why Meadow Creek wasn't in the list of schools. And she expressed concern because they have the Habitat for Humanity and then also the big mobile home park. And so I did talk to Lloyd talked to Winston, Miss Amy Garza opened up the school. That ended up being one of the busiest campuses for food. So Lloyd did reach out to Gloria and thank her for the input. And it really did feed a lot of kids that probably would not have been fed.
That's great.
So, I mean, she really, you know.
It was a great idea.
She's a really good advocate.
Yes. And so it also encouraged our community, if they have ideas, like send them, either through a trustee or send them to us directly, because you're right. That turned out to be one of the best spots for distribution. And I didn't call Winston, I just always call Brandon. And then Brandon.
Oh, Brandon, I'm sorry. I gotta go.
And Ms. Garza, you're right. They were so accommodating. Meadow Creek is a special place with special people, and the educators that showed up, there's 20 teachers that showed up to help the process. And thank you for delivering that message. You know, we try to do the best. We try to put the things in each sector, 4 sectors. We did think about the Meadow Creek and the proximity to some of our families, and it really worked out well. So great idea, Ms. Rankin. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Anything else? Meeting adjourned, 8:29.